What up, it's your boy Dvrth again with another video, and today we're here with MEGALOBOX episode 12. Last episode we had an amazing episode in which we had pretty much everybody fighting for what pretty much encapsulated their future. We also ended on, while things were going very well, Joe won his fight, and everybody seems to be on the up and up. It ended pretty badly. Nambu got his second eye gouged out by the mob boss, meaning that he won't be able to watch any more fights. No matter how far we go in this tournament, he won't be there to watch it, as far as I know, at least. So that's a little disappointing, a little depressing, but we move forward. We keep going. We'll see what we can do. Hopefully, we're gonna have to address it, and that's gonna be a hard topic to talk about, but we gotta address it. And just a small tidbit at the end as well. It seemed like we inspired Yuri so much to where his dog was growling at him, meaning that he's acting a little different. He's acting a little different. So we're gonna hop straight into it. We're almost done with this show, which is this is a short show, but it's incredible to know that we're almost done. However, there's a season 2 that we will be getting into. So we're gonna hop straight into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more MEGALOBOX or something totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media. Links going to be in the description below. If you want these episodes early, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Links going to be in the description for that as well. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones, make sure they're on, them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. What you got on your mind, big dog? Oh, that's not, that was the last thing whoa. I'm gonna keep you at 55th Street with you. I did not expect that. Like, it's obvious now that he said that, but I didn't expect that he would be like, yo, take the gear off me. I'm fighting that man to man, hands to hands. I didn't even know he could remove his gear. I thought it was so integrated into his body that, like, he basically gave up his arms to use it. Oh wow, can't keep lying to himself. Oh shit, my dog. Right, I bet he's super hype to actually fight somebody, especially since he thought that he was pretty much done. Jesus, it's been 3 months. They came a long way in 3 months. Insane. Wow. Wow. That's a lot of respect put on Joe's name. He turned a new leaf. He said, I'm going to go out in the cabin and just live life. He got his ass beat so bad that he was like, yeah, bro, I'm about to live like I got a new hairstyle too. What? Oh my god, dude. Are you serious? Jesus.
ギアで戦い、ギアで負けたんだ。でもお前は違う。本当に外す必要は。
Man, this isn't about that though. This is about the respect.
お前は俺と戦うためにエースの開発に命をかけた。
Hope he's under anesthetics. Wow, oh my god. Oh, insane. Yo, Yuri is... Props to Yuri. Props to Yuri. That's real shit. That's real shit.
そうだろ。
Man, but yeah. Honestly, Yuri has done all that you need. Did he really turn his back on the future though? You better fucking not. Yeah, you don't get it, bro. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm tired of people talking about him like that. Right, he's dirted a lot of... Really? Like, can we not see how much clout this man has earned? Alright, get out the fucking room, Sarah Palin. You're asking a question with a lot of nuance. Nice. Nice. This is great, bro. What's his name? Agaraki? Oh, wow. About to get some backstory? Bopple! Yup. You gone. I got one. Jesus. That's real. Honestly, I'm so sad that Nambu... He still, hey, he still pop. He still pops. He still pops. Let's get it. He still pops. Let's go. Nambu's still working with no eyes, my nigga. That's really... Ooh. That was quick. That was nice. That's crazy. We don't get to see him smile that much. Ooh, yeah, that's gotta be painful. Jesus. Yuri. I mean, mad props, dog. I couldn't imagine that type of physical and psychological pain. Like, what the fuck? Oh my god, it is like affecting his psyche. Yeah, he's a, oh my god. Yeah, that type of pain will, yeah, oh my god. Wow, bro, Yuri is a... Nah, bro, I refuse to believe that Yuri is anything but one of the GOATs. That much pain? He's fighting, dog. But Joe's giving him a reason to fight. That's real. That's real. Oh my god, man. Yuri, I mean, metal as hell. Kobe! Let's go. My dog having fun. That's good. He needs that. Nah, he needs to. She doesn't care. Yeah. It is what it is. Hey, respect to you too. How you feel about that? Ooh, that's a hard shot. Bro, they have some of the hardest shots of Joe, bro. He's so hype. He's so hype. Bro, this is so good. gotta work out. Gotta work out some more. Look at what. It's so hype. It's so hype. It's so hype. Why am I so hype about this? Bro, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh, that's so real. They're both dogs, dog. They're both dogs. I was just waiting for Yuri to turn into that dog. I knew he was. Bro, this is about to be a good ass. Oh my god, you have no idea. I'm so ready. Oh. God, I'm really gonna miss this ED when we get to season 2. Hold on. Hit that bitch. Yeah. Yeah, we good. All right, man. Listen. Since the beginning of this show, I've always known that there was a dog in Yuri. I just wanted to know what kind. I just want to know, if he was gonna let it out. I just wanted to know. It was quite obvious from the day that we met Yuri how exhilarated he seemed in that moment of Joe picking a fight with him, or at least how intrigued he was. And I think a lot of this episode was I forget her name, but the Shirato granddaughter, I guess I'll call her that. I'll just call her Shirato. A lot of this episode was, or a good portion of this episode was Shirato realizing that hunger. Because even in that moment, she didn't really understand it. And throughout this episode, she didn't really understand it. She even went out to talk about, or to say, like, during that meeting with her assistant, like, I don't get it. Why would they want to beat up on each other so much? And as I said during the reaction, that's a very nuanced, or that's a question that has a very nuanced and complicated answer. Like, the straightforward simple answer would be, they're dudes who have a lot of respect for each other. That's the simplest answer that I could give her. But of course, there's a lot of nuance to it. There's the fact that as we talked about before, like, the human body is the greatest machine that you could never make. That's the best way to put it. The human body is the greatest machine that you could never make. So when man such as Shirato goes forth to create something that's supposed to supersede the human body, and by society's standards has superseded the human body in a lot of ways, it becomes a point of interest for somebody to see a lone person supersede the predecessor. Like, when the predecessor is reminded who the fuck the not the predecessor, but the successor. When the successor is reminded who the fuck the predecessor is, the predecessor becomes a little bit more interesting in the eyes of others who don't really understand it. In this case, the predecessor being the human body, and the successor being the gear. And the people who don't understand it being Shirato. So when she sees something, or Shirato and Yuri to an extent, so when she sees something like this, where Joe is doing something not very insane, but normal, really, but insane by the standards of this world, it's not only interesting, but it's respectable. And for and I'm sure we've talked about this before in other episodes, but when it comes to this sport, is very much a blood sport, right? It's a blood sport filled with a lot of testosterone and adrenaline, and a love for the game. So when you have a sport like megaloboxing, where everything is augmented and computer learning, AI type of stuff, and like it becomes a little bit less human, and fighters start to feel a little less human. And I can only imagine how lost Yuri could have been when fighting his opponents, having the integrated armor on, and just washing his opponents with this new damn near alien tech. I'm sure that he always loved to win, but after a while you start to forget why you enjoyed fighting. And I think that was Yuri, even though it wasn't overtly said and it wasn't overtly shown in the show. I can only assume that was one of Yuri's biggest problems with himself and the game and everything else, is that I think he unbeknownst to himself lost his love for fighting. He still enjoyed winning, he still enjoyed being the best, and who doesn't stop enjoying that, right? Like who stops enjoying being the best and winning? But somewhere along the line, he forgot what it felt like to have an actual fight. So when Joe comes in and he's beating ass and he's taking names, he sees a little bit of his old self, because he didn't always have the gear. Yuri didn't always have the gear. So at some point, I think the thing to remember is that at some point Yuri did know what it felt like to enjoy the sport of boxing, not megaloboxing, but boxing. So when this nameless guy Joe comes around and starts beating ass without gear, and he seems to truly enjoy this. Not only is he good at it, but he truly enjoys fighting. He relishes in the game of boxing, in the sport of boxing. He bathes in the love of that sport, and he has a mass respect for it. In a way, I'm sure that Yuri saw a reflection of himself in Joe, when it came to Joe's love for the sport. And Joe, every time they spoke, it was them proclaiming their love for the sport. Joe saying, "Yeah, I just want a real fight. I just want real boxing. I want a real fight." And I'm sure that all through this episode, or not episode, all through this, oh my God, all through this, what do you call it, series, Yuri had that notion bouncing around in his mind of, this guy seems to be having as much fun as I used to, and I want to get back to that. What happened to me? And I think that may be a question that Yuri asked himself quite a bit. What happened to me? What happened to my love for the sport? What happened to my love for boxing? Not megaloboxing, but boxing. What happened to that? And he can find it in Joe. I think every sport and every athlete has a overall goal. It's a little different when it comes to sports such as boxing. Goals are a lot more personalized when it comes to something like that. Yeah, of course there's people that are like, I want to hold the belt, you know, I want to be the champion, I want to go, you know, 50-0, you know. But when it comes to boxing, it's not out of the realm of, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for somebody's goal to simply be to have that fight, like not a really good, but that fight, you know, the fight that reminds you why you love doing it. And Joe is exactly what Yuri needs when it comes to that fight. He knows, so much so to where Yuri himself decides, you know what, fuck the gear, I'm not using it anymore. In this episode, we have had, here's the thing, in all of this series, this show, we have had Joe driving full speed to the edge of a cliff. Whether he was doing it literally or metaphorically, he was always playing chicken with fear, with you know, doubt, all those negative emotions that stop you from fighting. He's always been playing chicken with that. And in this episode, the episode before the big fight, we see Yuri finally go over that cliff and just tell everybody, like, yo, I'm gonna do this, and nobody stopped me. We see that Yuri does the same thing that Joe does all throughout the show, where Yuri is now going to take off the gear and deal with, and I don't even think I can put this into perspective how painful this had to be, but I'm sure, I don't know how the gear works, but what I do know is that it's integrated gear. That shit had, if it wasn't connected to every nerve, it was connected to enough nerves into his body for me to I could only guess how painful it, and like, just thinking about how painful it had to be for Yuri to go under the knife like that, not take any like, of course he, you know, he took anesthesia. I'm sure he had the anesthesia for the actual surgery, but the aftermath of that, and not have any painkiller anesthesia or anything like that to mask the pain that he feels after that surgery. And dear God, like I said, me even thinking of the amount of pain that he had to go through in order to do that, like, to deal with the aftermath of that surgery, to recover, it makes my arms hurt just thinking about that. Like, we in the show did a fantastic job of pretty much visualizing what that pain is like, because I, like, myself seeing it, I was like, ooh, I can kind of feel what that pain would be like. But us seeing it visualized in Yuri's body becoming like a molten rock and burning up and cracking and breaking, it's one, it definitely symbolizes the pain that he's going through, because goddamn, he's going through a lot of pain. But two, it also, seeing his body crack and break like that, specifically that it started with his arms, is almost showing him kind of shed the shell of what he was, and becoming a more fiery, more tenacious being because of that pain, because of what he just put himself through. And I just really love that visual because it killed two birds with one stone. And you just, after you get through that scene, having a newfound like, you already had a newfound respect for Yuri when he said that he was going to take off the gear, but to see what he had to go through to take off that gear, you come out of that scene like having Yuri on the same level of respect as Joe. And I think that's something that the show had to do. The show had to make it to where we respected Yuri as much as we respected Joe, because it would have been a damn shame. And this was something that I would have been okay with, but I would have been a little disappointed with if we went in to the final fight with Yuri being the same like prim and proper house dog that he was. Instead you get a dog who has run away from home, beaten up, hit by a car, and still ready to fight. And now I can put Yuri on the same level as Joe when it comes to respect. And I can also enjoy this fight a lot more, because now I'm not just looking at the fight as like, yeah, Joe beat his ass, like he don't deserve it. Now I can look at the fight more as like, yeah, I want Joe to win. Yeah, of course. Because like, we've been following Joe. He's the main character. We've been following Joe longer. But props to Yuri. Like, I'm not going to disrespect him and say that he don't deserve to win. That's kind of the bottom line of why I'm glad they did that. That's the main reason why I'm glad they did that, is because with this, now I can see both of them deserving to win, instead of just Joe is a good guy because he came up from the mud, and Yuri is a bad guy because he is rich and has everything. Now both men have been stripped of what they came in with. They are naked as the day they are born, and it is just an all out pure fight. And that's all they wanted. So I'm glad that this is a really good penultimate episode, is what I'm trying. This is a really good penultimate episode. They set up this fight so well without it being boring. You had Yuri finally going through hardship. And then you also had something different where Joe is having fun. He's enjoying himself, and he needs that. Like, Joe deserves to chill out and have fun. He's gone through a lot. He's gone through a lot. Another thing is that Nambu being Nambu, and being like, Nambu has proven his worth in knowledge when it comes to boxing, but being able, like, with him being blind and him being able to still use his hearing to understand where Joe is going wrong and still coach Joe, like, it just shows you how it shows you how important our team was, and how useful our team was, because if you hadn't gotten in your head that Nambu was helping Joe a fuck ton with his game, like, now you understand. Because if Nambu can do all that when he's blind, imagine like all the times we haven't seen Nambu training Joe when he had eyes, when he could see, like that just solidified Nambu's, like, it basically respected his crippin'. I ain't about to lie to you. That's pretty much what it did. And for it to wrap up, I won't say it wrapped up Nambu's story, but like, it reaffirmed like him being blind, because he said, I've already seen the real thing, which is Joe. He understands how good Joe is, so he doesn't need to see anymore. Why does he need to see any more? He's seen the real thing. Like he knows the real thing now. Like there is no reason for it. Like, yeah, I'm blind, but like I live and breathe boxing. And all I see is boxing. If I've seen the pinnacle of boxing, then why do I need to see any more? Like it's a great way, even though Nambu lost his sight, like it's a great way to show that it, I don't want to say it's okay, but it'll be all right, it'll be all right. I'm content, just loved what they did for the characters in this show. Loved it. For Shirato and Mikio, even, seeing him, that he's living a more meek and modest life. Great, dude. Like, absolutely great. For Yuri, Sachio, the whole team, they brought back Aragaki. Like him being able to spar with Joe now, and him thinking that his fighting days were over, which I mean, like his main stage fighting days are over, sure, but like he can still take part in the game, and it's just great. It seems like this episode did a really good job to subtly wrap up all of our characters that we've met in this 12 episode span, and it's really smart the way they did it. It's really smart the way they did this. Everybody came together. We got a nice, not like, I don't want to say like a nice little bow on top of everybody's character and story, because I don't know where this season 2 goes, but we got closure for a lot of people. We got progression, like in progression for a lot of people, and it was just really smart for the penultimate fight, which is going to pretty much, I'm going to assume, is going to only be focused on Yuri and Joe, as it should. So I'm hyped for it, hyped for the fight. This is going to be a great episode next. Really excited for this. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more Megalobox, I'm still so not used to a show having that short of a name. More Megalobox or something totally different. The best place to send that in is always my social media. Link's going to be in the description below. If you want these episodes early, subscribe to my Patreon. Link's going to be in the description below for that as well. We are going to do season 2 when we get there. I'm still not sure if I'm going to take a bit of a break off of Megalobox, simply because, like, I like to give shows time to breathe. But I just want to say, like, yes, we are definitely doing season 2. There's no doubt in my mind we will do season 2. It may not be the direct next week, but we are definitely doing season 2. So yeah, I'm gonna get my off button ready. And as always, where's my off button? There it goes. You all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.